Hello, I'm attorney Louis Haskell, and this is my assistant, Maria Mendez. And Maria was filling out a tax return for me today, and she thinks she found a problem. Unfortunately, the problem is not with her work. The problem is one that I harp on all the time. In fact, I actually just this morning reposted one of my video blogs, I guess, on this subject. But this is a good teachable moment. And so I wanted to make a video out of this, and it has to do with 401k withdrawals. I'm not going to share my screen that I'm showing Maria, well, because this is information about a real client. But in any event, my client withdrew roughly $75,000 from a traditional 401k, and he withheld a little over $9,000, which is roughly 12%. That 12% withholding is horrifically inadequate, and it is horrifically inadequate for two reasons. The first reason is that even in a normal year, he would be in the 22% tax bracket, which means that 12% already leaves him 10% short. And he withdrew $75,000. So 10% short is already $7,500. So that's $7,500 of tax that needs to be paid above and beyond what his withholding protected him for. Now, some of this is actually being taxed at 24%. So some of this, actually, it's a 12% shortfall. If it's all 12%, then it's at $9,000 that comes up short. But then there's a second problem. This fellow is not age 59 and a half yet.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, he is not, which means when we come over here, you can see he's got a penalty, 10%, $7,528. Okay, so he's at least in the whole $15,000 here. Okay, meaning that $15,000 of tax that needs to be paid above and beyond the withholding that he has from his 401k withdrawal. So the fact that he only owes $9,000 is actually a happy event. That this 401k withdrawal, he would have had a $6,000, and actually he does get good refunds every year, but not this year. And it's clients as best as I can. He did take a small amount out last year, so I fuss with him because I always help my clients whenever they money out of their 401ks because it's a problem at tax time. And although they had withholding when they took it out, it's almost never enough. And it almost always results in a problem when they come to see me. And in this case, because the fellow took so much money, it created a particularly large problem. So, this benefit my clients, this is a good real life story of what I keep talking about. My guy took $75,000 out of a 401k. He withheld 12%, which is more than most people withhold 10%. And he still winds up basically under withholding to the tune of $15,000, wiping out his entire tax refund and leaving him actually owing $9,000. So this is, what I warn my people about. I do blog on this subject from time to time. I do put up videos on this subject from time to time. And I talk to my clients about it whenever I can. And when I do my review, one of the things I always say is, don't do your retirement plan without talking to me first. Sometimes there are ways to avoid some of these problems or alternatives to doing the withdrawal or whatever. Then to review his taxes, I'll find out why he did it. Usually when it's this large, it's because they change jobs and because they're leaving, they just dump their 401k. Some people think that it's okay to empty your 401k if you're buying a house for the first time. It is a benefit for first-time home buyers. You get to exclude $10,000 of the withdrawal from that $10,000 penalty, or 10% penalty rather, but that only saves you $1,000. So if this guy's a first-time home buyer, it'll only be $14,000 instead of which is kind of better than nothing, but it's a small consolation in the end of the day. A lot of folks think that there either is no penalty at all, And I've had clients actually come in here believing they weren't going to have to pay tax on the withdrawal. I don't know where that information comes from, but it doesn't come from the IRS. So in any event, everybody out there, to be careful about taking money out of your 401ks, especially while you're still working or in a year in which you're still working. Thank you.